Hi guys, hope wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you've had a sensational day, and wherever you are in Australia, you're not caught in the heat wave that we're experiencing at the moment. I think here in Melbourne, it's what did you just say it is?
It's 41 degrees at 8 o'clock at night.
Yes, so it's definitely summertime, but either way, hope you've had a sensational day. And tonight we're really calling out, I guess, to all parents that have children that bite. So this is for you guys. You know, if your child has just started biting and or has demonstrated this behaviour for a while, it's really important to understand, more so than anything, the reason why. Understanding this is a first step in being able to, I guess, help change that behaviour. And tonight we're really excited, as always, to be speaking to the fun-loving and our adorable and fun-loving Bree Hansen from Be Minor. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Awesome. Now, we are really excited to be speaking about this, and Bree's going to be sharing the reasons why children bite, what you need to do, and how to prevent it from happening. Now, the link to it's a fantastic article, and the link is at the bottom of the introduction paragraph, so by all means, at the end of watching this little chat tonight, have a good read. And we're just going to be discussing, as we always, and asking Bree three key questions, and we'll sort of get into those in a moment.
Yep.
And I just wanted to quote some of the I guess the first paragraph from Bree's article, and stating that, you know, when children bite, it tends to shock adults more than any other negative behaviour. However, biting is common among young children, and understanding the reason for your child's biting is the first step in being able to change their behaviour, which is, as we sort of said in the introduction.
Yep.
So now, Bree is a mum of three of the most adorable children I think you could ever lay your eyes on. I just love them so much. I was just saying before, I just said to her and her husband, you guys just make beautiful babies, which you do.
Yeah.
Your children
As a friend of mine says, 2 wrongs do make a right.
they are just to die for. And so you just mentioned you've had this experience with some of your children.
Yes, yeah. One of my children is 5 years old and is still a biter.
Yes.
So from his whole life, he's been very oral.
Yes.
And as he got into the age, so around 13 months is usually when children start to bite.
Yeah.
And he started showing signs of biting people. And we were just like, okay, it's just a passing phase, that's what happens, and everything like that. And as time went on, he continued to bite, and it took us a long time to work out what it was. And for him, his issue was sensory input. So he actually, in order for him not to bite, he needs to eat dry biscuits.
Wow.
So now that took us a long time. That actually took us up until the age of 5 to work out that was what he needed for him to stop. So sometimes it isn't just a quick fix. We tried everything.
Like a trial and error.
Yes, yeah, that's it. We were lucky enough to have actually gone to an occupational therapist, and they were the one who said, "Oh, have you tried chewy things?" And we were like, "Oh, we've tried chewing gum, we've tried chewy lollies, bread rolls, like things that he really has to," because that's, as an early childhood educator, one of the things that we would recommend for children who need the sensory input.
Yeah.
But for us, it was dry biscuits, which I'd never heard of before.
So as a question, and I'm sure the OT actually would have maybe sort of elaborated more, and this is just part of his development. Was it?
Yes. Yeah. So some children need more sensory input than other children. Some children do it through monkey bars or handstands, through touching things, or whereas him, it's a very oral thing.
Yeah.
So, I know sometimes when babies are young and parents are like, "Oh, don't put that in your mouth, don't put that in your mouth." That's how children learn. So when children put things in their mouth, it's actually their way of experimenting with things.
Yeah.
So yeah, he is the same, but more extreme than most people. Yeah.
So there's so many great points, I guess, throughout the article. So maybe we should sort of start getting into the questions,
sure.
maybe.
Yep.
So question number 1, we've got, the question is why? Why do children bite?
Yep. So there's a number of reasons why children bite. One of the number one reasons is probably lack of communication, lack of language. So as I said, when children are 13 months, they're old enough to be able to communicate, but they don't actually have those verbal language skills to express themselves. Yes. Yeah. And sometimes they get really frustrated and they just want to be able to communicate with you, and their way of lashing out is to bite you.
Out of frustration.
Yes, out of frustration, that's
Right.
right. And then other reasons are to be overstimulated. So children, you know, if you take them shopping and they're tired and you've got all of the bright lights and all of the beeping and the colours and everything like that, that can overstimulate a child.
Yeah.
And again, their way of processing all of this information is to bite. And other things are...
I think of it as myself. I mean, I'm sure you're the same. When I'm really, really stressed, I sort of clench my jaw. And I feel it as an adult, I guess. I mean, I'm not the height of an adult, but I feel it. You know, there's muscles on the side of your face. So, you know, I guess that is something as human beings that we actually do, but this is more biting as opposed to just like clenching your jaw. Would you say? I don't know.
It's
the same thing.
Yeah.
It's a stress thing.
Yes. But as an adult, you have the ability to stop.
Yes.
Whereas they don't have that, control over their body at that stage.
Yeah.
So another like major thing, and especially when children are around a lot of other children, is for cause and effect. So, say for example, or around adults as well, if I bite you and you yell at me, then I'm going to be like, oh wow, I liked that reaction.
Like an attention.
Exactly. Yes. So they do it again. And also children a little bit older, if they're seeking, some attention and they're not getting the positive attention that they're seeking, then they will bite because they love the, stop, what are you doing? And, that kind of stuff.
I've got mummy or daddy's attention or grandma. Or
yeah. And then there's the classic when children are fighting over toys. So, there might be one toy, two children, and one child pulls it away. And the quickest way, because they can't say, oh, actually, I'd like to use this toy right now. Can I please have this after you? So they'll just lash out and bite to get the toy because the person's probably going to let go, and that's their way, of getting a quick fix of getting what
Once
they
again,
want.
like a frustration.
Yes.
Yeah.
And lack of communication. So I think lack of communication and frustration are the main things. And then one of the other things I haven't mentioned is teething.
Yes.
When children are teething, when you bite on something, it actually relieves the pain.
Yeah.
So, how you're explaining when you get stressed and you clench your jaws.
Yes.
Like sometimes that does actually
Every day.
make you feel better, even though it's not good for you. And I know as an adult, for anyone who's had their wisdom teeth come through, like, how painful it is to have those teeth come through. And as an adult, you know what's going on. As a child, you don't know what's going on in your mouth.
No. So, everything's new, pretty much.
Exactly.
So teething is one of the things.
Yes.
In the article, frustration, which you just mentioned, the inability to communicate, as you said, being overstimulated when they've been out, as you said, either shopping or at a birthday party or whatever it is. It's just overstimulation, noise, music, needing sensory input. Exploration as well. So you're just saying, just the learning of actually,
it's one of our main senses.
Yes,
so we learn a lot through our mouths, especially when we're babies. So it's such a strong sense.
And then the cause and effect, which is I guess for attention, and you speak about more about the attention. So there's lots of, and so when you read the article, you'll actually see the reasons for the biting, and as we're going to go into the next questions. But next to that, it actually does sort of Bree's highlighted beautifully what we need to do. So we'll go into question number 2. What do we do? Straight into it.
So different situations, you do different things. So for example, if they're teething and they bite you, you just say, very softly, very calm, as calm as you can, because sometimes it does take you by surprise and you may gasp or, let out a yelp, but just as calmly as you can, just say to them, that's not okay. Biting is not okay. That really hurt me. And then you can remove them from you and go and get them a teething ring. So I've got just a few teething rings that I've
some props
got here. This one is great for toddlers because it's quite big. They can get that into their molars and give it a good old chomp.
Yeah.
When they're a little bit younger, this one is fantastic because it's got the little handle there that they can grip onto for their palmar grass.
Yeah.
And you can do the front or with the back fins there, you can get on in there. And then there's another one that's quite small as well. And that's kind of mirroring the shape of the mouth.
Yes.
So you just pop those in the freezer. Anything that's frozen.
Yeah.
So you can also do things like, freeze up some watermelon or orange quarters and stuff like that and get them to chomp on those. Especially like biting with breastfeeding.
Yes, of course.
Sometimes people say, oh, my child's teething and they're biting my nipples. If you just give them something to chew on, like a teething ring, numb their gums with the ice and then feed, they're less likely to bite.
Yes.
So it's
Really?
just, it's all about numbing the gums, taking away that pain. So it's the same as if you have an injury. I've just broken my elbow and the first thing I did was ice it.
Yes.
So it's exactly the same thing with your teeth.
Yep.
Numb the gums.
He's numbing it.
Yeah, takes away the pain.
Well, I've got a question for you, and I hope it's not too much of a curveball, but you know that those teething necklaces that mums get and those types of things?
Yeah.
Naturally, they can't be chilled, but do you think, what's your opinion on those?
They do have their place, yeah.
Yes.
What you do have to be careful of, though, is that they are non-toxic. So there are a lot of companies that do sell them, especially on eBay, that come from countries where they are not good for children to put in their mouth. So you really need to make sure that you find the right company.
Yep.
I do know of somebody in Australia that sells non-toxic ones. I can't think of their company name right now, but I will put the link up in the comments after, because I know that she's won awards and everything for that. Yes, her amazing work. So
and and when you go to a lot of the expos, the PBC Expo, who we're partnered with, the Essential Baby and Toddler Expo, who we're also partnered with, you'll see a lot of the stands, and there are some really great, as you said, non-toxic and safe teething.
And they look good too.
Some of them are really funky.
Yes.
They're really nice.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, I think, as you said, that they've got their place.
Yes,
you think?
Exactly. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Whoever came up with that idea is amazing.
Yeah.
So yes.
And the other thing is too, of course, as a parent, it's a great sort of home business as well, which I guess a lot of mums have sort of got those businesses. But I just wanted to know your opinion on that.
Yeah, no,
so,
that's great.
So the next question, we're still going on in number. This is question number 2. You know, what do we do to prevent this?
Yep.
And what do we do when children bite? So we've got the teething rings and we've got the necklaces.
Yep. So if a child's frustrated, for example, you need to work out why they're frustrated and talk them through. So if they're younger, you use less language and more removing them from the situation and try and redirect them to something else. If they're older, you can talk them through.
Yeah.
Okay, why did you bite? You know, what can we do instead of biting? And you can give them, like, I know when I worked in childcare, I'd often be saying to the children, you know, if you need to bite, go and get an apple. You know, an apple's a good thing for you to bite in. And then you talk to them, what are other things that you can chew on if you're feeling, you know, like you're frustrated, or, you know, you can take a deep breath instead of biting. And try and redirect your frustration in different ways, because children are always going to get frustrated. Adults get frustrated as well. But it's how you redirect that. So instead of biting, take a deep breath, go and have a drink of water, have an apple to chomp on if you feel like you need to bite.
So as an early educator, have you experienced a lot of that in childcare centres where children are either, and there could also be like a sign of anxiety, would you say?
If children are overwhelmed, well, it'll go back to the kind of overstimulated or overwhelmed. Sometimes if a child's new and they're in this situation, children are rushing past them and they're like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
And that is their way of coping.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, like in that situation, you'd probably give them a cuddle and say, it's okay, you're safe.
Yeah.
You know, everything's going to be okay. And let them know that, you know, this is a good place and you'll get used to it. So,
So that was frustration. So
and also, so for children who need sensory input, like I explained with my son, he needs dry biscuits. Other people recommend like really chewy lollies where you've got to really chew into them, which the dentists probably would not be so happy about. I find this is a necklace that you can wear around and chew on. These are great. A lot of children with ASD have these kind of necklaces.
For the children to wear.
For the children to wear.
Yep.
And then if you feel like you need to bite somebody, you just pick that up and you give that a good
That's
chew.
a really great idea.
Yeah, and that's always on you. And you can get bracelets as well, and keychains and stuff like that. So, you know, depending on your age, I know older children probably don't want to wear that, but you can have a keychain on your school bag, and, you know, if you're feeling like you need to bite, you can quickly have a chew on that.
Yeah.
And also, like as we explained, exploration. If they need to bite and they're biting people, we need to redirect them to something. There are so many chewy toys out on the market that they can chew on. So just redirect them to something that they can. And with the cause and effect, I think this is one of the most important things. It's hard, and I've said this before, it's hard not to react, but it's really important to stay as calm as you are. Let them know that it's not okay. If they bite another child, it's really important to give the child that got bitten the attention. So,
Yes.
you know, either pick the child up that bit, remove them from the situation and say, okay, you need to go over there. What you've done is not okay. Biting is not okay. And then come back and give the other child cuddles and even let the child who's bitten see that you're comforting the other child. And that way you're giving all the attention to the person who's been bitten.
Yeah.
So that you're not giving that negative attention to
Yes.
the person, so that they may do it again because they're like, oh, I liked the attention I just got for this.
Yes,
And
yeah, absolutely. And that demonstrates by leading by example to the child as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. So let's get into question number 3.
Yep.
Which is we're sort of flying through the questions now.
We are.
So question number 3, you know, what do we do if biting continues?
Okay, so basically, if you've done everything you can, and there's stuff that we haven't touched on that you can read through in the blog, and it's a continuing thing. So generally, bad habits generally don't last for more than 3 weeks.
Yep.
If it's longer than 3 weeks, then it's not a passing phase anymore. It's more of a ongoing behaviour.
So you would say after 3 weeks to maybe see an occupational therapist?
Well, I probably wouldn't go straight to the occupational therapist. I'd probably just make an appointment to see your maternal health nurse or your GP, or even if if your children are in childcare, just talk to your educator and say to them, hey, like I've tried all of this. What do you think? And then maybe go to your maternal child care nurse or to your GP and just let them know, what's happening. The best thing you can do is document everything. So write down when they bite, why they've bitten, what's led up to it and everything like that. And you might even be able to work it out yourself. So after they've bitten maybe 6 times, you can go back and go, oh, actually, it's always at night and it's always before dinner. Oh, they're hungry and they're tired.
Yes.
Or, it's always in a situation where we're at a party. Oh, they're overstimulated and they're not able to communicate their needs, at the party. So, and then you can go, okay, say for example, if it's every time you go shopping, then you go, okay, let's try and not take the biting child shopping, or make sure that you do it just after they've had a sleep and something to eat, so that they're less likely to bite because they've got all the best chances because they're well rested and they're well fed and
so to keep a diary, to keep track, see the pattern, and then you may be able to, as you said, pretty much solve that sort of on your own.
Yes.
Yep, sort of seeing the pattern.
And if you can't, then the GP or the maternal health nurse might even tell you to go to a paediatrician, or for example, in my area I've got an amazing thing called CoHealth. And CoHealth is the place, they've got creepy crawlies and walkie talkies, and once a month you can take your children who, if you think they've got issues that you can't resolve, and you can talk to people like speech therapists, physiotherapists, occupational therapists, and they will observe your child, listen to what you've said, and then say, oh, actually, yeah, they probably could be, good to go into the early intervention program, and they can help you out in whatever area.
So there's help out there. It's just a matter of
Yeah.
So, and this is a question I wanted to ask. So, I mean, from an age perspective, my understanding, and as you state, the article does state, the reasons for biting some of the age groups, and I guess milestones that they sort of would be sort of encountering depending on the age.
Yeah.
But up until what age would you say children? It's normal for children to be biting, and at what point do you think it's something that, as you said, that a parent would need to consider?
It's
probably
an issue. Yeah. Well, that's a hard one. Like the most acceptable time for a child to bite would be anywhere from say 6 months to 2.5, 3 years.
Yep.
Once a child has their full language skills, then you've got to take that away and go, okay, you can communicate.
Yeah.
So there's another issue on top of that. It's not really acceptable for a 5-year-old to be biting.
Yeah.
But they are still children.
Yes.
And you've got to be a little bit flexible and go, okay, well, what was the reason why you bit?
Once again,
let's get to the bottom of this and
yeah. And the only other question I was just going to say also, understanding for younger children as well, the hazards obviously in choking and inhaling and anything that's going to be detrimental to them as well.
Yep.
From that perspective, all parents have just got to be very careful and diligent, obviously, with whatever's lying around the house, because
Exactly.
they may, not understand the difference between this and then something else. It's going to be something that could get lodged in their throat. So it's just, which is...
So, we have, as an educator, this is going back a long time. I don't know whether people know what film canisters are anymore.
Yeah.
We used to have the rule that if anything can fit in a film canister, then it's not safe for children under 3. You know your child, though. Some children under 3 are not inclined to put things in their mouth. Some children over 3 still are. So just judge your child. If you think that they're still going to put things in their mouth, don't have anything that can, basically like fit into your hand like that. Or if you remember a film canister, like the size of a film canister.
Yeah.
So that's the amount of times I've gone around my house and picked up things and gone, they don't fit into my fingers. We can keep that.
And do you have, as a parent, this experience, this with your children as well? Do you have any other stories or any other solutions or experiences or situations that you could share with us that could be helpful?
I think, as I said, this necklace was a lifesaver for us. And I actually got that for my child who bites and for his older sister. And I think she probably got more out of it than he did.
And why is that?
Just because it's such a wonderful thing to get that sensory input through your mouth sometimes, especially when you're at school, when you're doing your schoolwork, just to chomp on something. It really helps you to concentrate. I wish I could find it, but Panadol gives you a teething ring in your Bounty bag when you are pregnant. Now, as far as I know in Victoria, everybody gets these Bounty bags. If you get one of these green things, it's like a triangle, or sometimes you get the circle. They are like the bee's knees when it comes to chewing. So especially, working through that teething period where your child's more inclined to bite. But, and the other thing I didn't mention also is this was my saviour when I worked in the baby's room. And basically it's just a face washer that's rolled up. You pop that in the freezer. And every time they feel like they need to bite, you just say, okay, you need to chew on the face washer. And it's just, while it's frozen, they, can get in there, numb their gums. It's good sensory input. And then you just wash it up, roll it back up and pop it in the freezer again. And
So the options, once again, is a face washer that's sort of chilled.
Your
teething rings. And I guess the biggest thing and takeaway, I guess, from this article is understanding the reason why behind the behaviour.
And staying calm, trying not to react, because it really is. Children hit, kick, pull hair, do all sorts of things. But for some reason, the biting is the one that really upsets people. And it's very, very common.
And I guess in a home environment, it can be quite disruptive too. I guess if siblings and that sort of stuff bite as well. So from that perspective, it's understanding. Not only in their home but outdoors as well. And like you said, the only other question I guess I have is that if your child or if you've had somebody else's child bite your child, as a parent, have you had any experience with that?
I have had an experience where my child has been bitten, or a couple of my children have been bitten. And I'm very understanding, because I know, as a parent, you feel horrible when your child hurts another child. The worst thing that can happen is that another parent can come over and go, well, your child just did this to me. And, I think when people are understanding, and I know that my child, especially at play centres where he does get very overstimulated, he's bitten children before, and the other parents have, luckily in my experience, been amazing about it. So I think as a parent, that's one of the best things you can do, is just be understanding and know that they are children. They're still learning.
Of course.
Well,
look, guys, definitely have a read of the article. Bree's put together some really informative but yet helpful information about this topic. By all means, if you've got any other questions, write it in the comments. If as a parent, this experience, if people have got any questions that they want to find you outside of Kittypedia, how else can they find you?
You can contact me with beminermusic.com. Happy to answer any questions or redirect you to any services that might be able to help you out.
Sensational. And thank you so much for your time and for your article this month.
My pleasure.
And thanks. Give her a round of applause, everyone. If you just want to see her arm, just really quickly, I'll just share. How did you, just really quickly, so recovery's for how long now?
3.5 weeks to go till recovery, but I can play the ukulele, so I'm pretty happy about that.
That's awesome. So the next time we do a Facebook Live, definitely you'll be sort of
I
well
will have
recovered.
2 arms. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys, and by all means, if you've got any other questions, put them in the comments. Have a read of the article. Love to know what you think, and you know, with just your experience with biting. Take care, stay cool, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks for
Love to the
watching.
kids.
See you later.
Bye.